What's up, Neon Nation? Welcome back for some more Cyberpunk 2077 news, details, and analysis. Today we'll be talking about if we'll be able to travel past the Night City limits in Cyberpunk 2077, objectification, sex, and CD PROJEKT RED's reasoning and philosophy for their stance on nudity, a developer hiring which could give us some clues to a Gwent-like minigame or puzzle-based quests in the game, backpacks and other equipment options you may have missed from the E3 trailer, and some additional things you Cyberpunk 2077 fans will definitely enjoy. First up, can we take a moment to appreciate this samurai jacket that Mateusz Tomaszkiewicz received as a gift from CD PROJEKT RED for his 10 years of being on the team. It comes in a really sleek looking briefcase, and although it doesn't have the raised collar and all the LED jazz, actually seems more suitable to wear out in public. It's got his name stitched on the inside and is just an insane piece overall. Now, some of you guys have asked if something like this will be in the collector's edition, and while I think it would be cool, it'll most likely be exclusive to employees and will be a personalized keepsake for those who have dedicated their time to making games with CDPR. Can we also appreciate this fan-made Cyberpunk 2077 Xbox custom design by the Xbox Pope? This is Neon Nation aesthetic to the T, and if I was going to be playing on Xbox, I would be all over this. Such an awesome design, and kind of makes you wonder about the potential for console editions, although I think console editions are reserved for the most established developers, which will happen for CDPR if they continue their streak of successful titles. Next up, we have details about the outskirts of Night City. Now, we've seen almost exclusively city settings for Cyberpunk 2077 so far in both the E3 trailer and the gameplay demo, which makes sense as Cyberpunk settings are based upon densely overcrowded locales and looming megacities. According to a VG end of the year recap article, Cyberpunk will feature more than meets the eye in terms of environments. Similarly to how a whole new world of Skellige and its isles was opened up to you in The Witcher 3, there will be a certain degree of outskirts to the city, according to Richard Borzymowski from the CDPR team. He mentions that we are not putting an invisible wall after the last building in the city because that would completely break immersion. The city is located on the west coast in California, and there is a desert and sea. Borzymowski also adds a peculiar detail in this quote, stating there might be something else as well. This leads me to believe that this reinforces the moon theory and space travel idea we discussed in a prior news video. It's looking more and more convincing that we will be visiting space and/or the moon. As mentioned before, we see Orbital Air, which is a space travel megacorporation, and there's also this scene from the E3 trailer, which looks like it's in space. A taste of what we may see from the outskirts is also reflected by these hillbillies from the E3 trailer, who look to have settled in a mountainous desert setting on a farm of some sort. We also see the mountain peaks and ocean vistas in the gameplay demo. There is a set sail ad I mentioned in my All Ads Explained video that hints at ocean travel of some sort. The Nomads are also a faction in Cyberpunk 2020 who prowl the outer city limits, so maybe a Mad Max styled quest or mission is in the cards. Now, to what degree we can explore outside is anyone's guess, but I'm gonna assume the vast majority of occurrences that happen will be in Night City, with only isolated events being in the desert, ocean, and previously mentioned moon missions. Now, fun fact of the day, the original Night City in the pen and paper RPG source material was actually modeled in SimCity on an Apple II by Mike Pondsmith all those years ago. Different layouts were prototyped, and this helped with visualizing the city. Next, we have a new hiring at CD PROJEKT RED. Manuel Mendeluce from Tequila Studios, who has worked on previous games such as Dead Light, Rime, and Sexy Brutale, will join the Cyberpunk 2077 team starting this month. These are games that included stunning design work, with Manuel's role at Tequila Studios being mainly a lead level designer. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 is already playable from start to finish, so I can see this hire being for a minigame in Cyberpunk 2077 similar to Gwent. Rime is, after all, a puzzle styled game, which could mean he's developing the puzzles within the story or even as a side option. CDPR has been making some big moves staff-wise, with Kyle Rowley, their associate design director, leaving, as well as looking to hire automated test engineers and cinematics designers to round out the game's development. Next, I just wanted to bring up this screenshot and ask you guys potentially for some help. Now, this was on a fairly old article about how CD PROJEKT RED and Mike Pondsmith came together. It originated from VG247, but there was another site which had a .co URL with this picture of what looks like a Ripperdocs office. Ripperdocs are places you install cyberware and cybernetics in Cyberpunk 2077. Now this could be from another game entirely, but I don't recognize it, so if it is, let me know. Otherwise, this could potentially be a Cyberpunk 2077 screenshot we haven't seen yet. It does look very similar to a scene we could see in a Ripperdoc office, and even the glove on the screen looks fairly similar to Dr. Victor's teched out Ripperdoc gear. Next, let's talk about sexuality and how objectification will play into the world of Cyberpunk. Now this is a theme that is discussed in many Cyberpunk works, and 2077 will be no different. A major theme in this game will be the fact that in this vision of the dark future, human beings are generally disposable and struggle with their own sense of identity without external and usually materialistic things and associations. With cyberware skewing what it means to be human, governments and megacorporations also skew the citizens of Night City's thoughts on how we should treat each other as humans. In Cyberpunk 2077, your own legitimacy is measured by a street cred value that can only be increased by completing quests and by wearing quote-unquote cool clothes. In 2077, you're essentially nothing without having stylish clothes, high-tech cyberware, and a nice apartment. Everyone in Cyberpunk 2077 is a means to an end, and although you could argue that's how society is now, in 2077 it's much more in your face and normalized. The disposability of the human being is rampant, as is solipsism. This is reflected in being treated differently by the way you dress and how you customize your character. This is a gameplay mechanic that is deeply rooted in the Cyberpunk lore and has the potential to do the genre justice. This can shine the limelight on our own recklessness with modern day tech like social media. It can show us, at least briefly, how we can end up if we are so oblivious to the slippery slope of isolation that comes with seemingly minuscule technology. When it comes to sexual objectification, this is apparent in the lackadaisical relationships with prostitutes and even with being able to order them from vending machines. The body is no longer sacred, says Adam Badowski, which is why we see such a prolific rate of sexualization out in the open. We see hints at robotic geishas, like we've seen in Ghost in the Shell, who are literally objects for viewing pleasure and for servicing our needs. They don't exist beyond that, and also throws questions first asked in Blade Runner on how we treat pseudo-humans and AIs. This is a world completely desensitized by sex and nudity. There's an insane amount of sexual ads and innuendos in the city. In this world, even gay and lesbian relationships are out in the limelight. It seems like the concept of privacy is dead in Night City. Next, we have something for those trying to scratch the Cyberpunk 2077 itch. I know there are games like Deus Ex and Observer which are true to the Cyberpunk aesthetic and story, but GTA 5 also has a mod which can give you a taste of what 2077 might feel like. If you have GTA, consider downloading this mod and taking it for a spin, as it will give you at the very least character models heavily influenced by Cyberpunk 2077 to test your character customization skills. Next, we have a new series of daily facts about the universe of Cyberpunk 2020 coming from Artalsorian Games called The Countdown to the Dark Future. This is the company run by Mike Pondsmith, the creator of the Cyberpunk 2020 IP. Now in the first week, they have facts about Johnny Silverhand, which we will include in our lore series that will be starting up again. In episode 1, we learned that the band Samurai, led by Johnny Silverhand, also includes group members Kenny Uradine on vocals, Denny on the drums, Bess Isis on the keyboard, and Henry on the bass guitar, and was discovered in 2003 by Jack Masters. Their first single was Blistering Love and dominated the Euro charts at number 1. We will be including details from these episodes in future Silverhand and Samurai lore videos, so keep an eye out on those or visit artalsoriangames.com and get a jump start. Lastly, we have something I noticed when I was watching the E3 trailer for probably the 4,000th time. In this scene, we see a backpack on the ground, which got me thinking if this is a piece of equipment in the game. Again, just like the Xbox design, this is Neon Nation to the T, and it would be cool if this was a lootable item that could maybe let us hold more items overall. What do you guys think? As always, thanks for watching, and for everything and anything Cyberpunk 2077, subscribe to the Neon Arcade.